Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we are going to make this full holiday water slide wrap tumbler. It still feels early for me to do Christmas designs because I don't even have my fall decorations out. But I know we start as early as the end of the summer making up some Christmas designs because that is the busiest time of year, not only for our business, but life is crazy too, right? So I have collaborated with Slide Hustle once again to create 4 custom designs that you cannot get anywhere else. These are exclusive from their in-house designer. This pack includes 4 full white water slides, which is what I'm showing you here, and then the sheet that has the little houses, the little scene on it, is printed on clear. These are all extremely high quality and look absolutely beautiful on tumblers. You can trim them. If you check back on my tutorials, I have used some of Slide Hustle's water slides in the past, and you can see how beautiful and vibrant that they really are, and a lot of different ways that you can use them. You don't have to use them in a full sheet as I'm doing here. You can trim them in half, put them in thirds and quarters, it doesn't matter, cut stripes. You can really make one single pack or one single water slide stretch for multiple designs. As you can see, one sheet fits a 24-ounce plump from the Steel Magnolia perfectly after you trim off the edges. And I also have a tutorial that shows you how you can make this fit onto a 30 to 32 ounce tumbler as well. I just trimmed off all of the white border, wrapped it around my tumbler, and marked off where I needed to trim the excess, so this would just ever so slightly overlap whenever I put it on my tumbler. In my last tutorial, I used a spray bottle of water to soak down the water slide and the tumbler before applying, and this one I could not find my spray bottle anywhere, and I didn't have a bowl big enough to put my full water slide down in, so I just ran it under some lukewarm water, made sure it was really saturated, and then gave it just a couple of minutes to separate itself from that backing. This water slide is super durable, so what I did was take it completely off of that back, rub some of that glue residue off of the back onto the tumbler, and then I ran and gave it a little bit more water so that I could easily move it around and place it on the tumbler. I'm very gently just wrapping that around the tumbler, and then I'm going to take my little squeegee tool and press out the water that is underneath. As you can see, I am using my whole hand to move this around. That way I'm not applying too much pressure in one certain area as if I were to be pushing with like one finger and pulling it around on the tumbler. Very gently moving that around with the palm of my hand so that I can move large sections at a time and not damage my water slide. Like I said, this one is super durable, and I mean that's shown just because I could take it off of the backing and put it on the tumbler all at once. A lot of water slide brands, you have to just gently remove it off of that back as you are working your way around the tumbler, but this one you most certainly do not have to do that. As you are working the water out from underneath the tumbler, you want to start on the opposite side of the seam and then work your way around to either side. That way you're pressing half of the water out to one side of the seam, and then of course the other half to the other side. And the seam is the very last part that you will press down once you have all that water out. If you see that it is bunching up in a certain area, if you have too much water that has pooled underneath, just lift your seam up, allow that water to come out, and then you can lay your seam back down. 2 of the best things that you can use to press the water slide down after you have all of that water that you can get out from underneath and just dry everything up is either a coffee filter or a piece of wrapping tissue paper. It absorbs the water but does not get I want to say tacky. It does not grab a hold of your water slide like a paper towel or a rag could. So definitely use either a coffee filter or a sheet of wrapping tissue paper to help dry that water slide up. And I'm so sorry, y'all. Something happened to the footage of me applying that layer of epoxy on top of the water slide as well as taping off the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to tape off the bottom here. But I did give this one coat of epoxy and I added in some extra fine Firefly from PDB Creative Studio to give this water slide some shimmer. And then I let that dry and then taped off the bottom of this so we can paint the bottom to match the remaining part of the tumbler. I used stamped Passport that matched this water slide perfectly. And before it dried, I went ahead and removed all of my protective layering and my tape. And then I went over to Creative Fabrica and found this really pretty SVG that we could use for our decal. It is layered, so all you have to do is hit ungroup and separate the Oh Holy Night from the stars. I resized the Oh Holy Night to 3.5, which is what I normally use for my decals. Since the star was just sort of an extra, I thought that would be the best way to get the sizing correct. Then I pulled my stars over and just placed them where I wanted them to go. Once I had my placement right on the stars, I moved my wording out of the way so that I could attach all of my stars together. I did resize them just a little bit because I forgot to do that before I moved them over. And then I highlighted all of them and clicked attach. I wanted our stars to sort of blend in to our water slide design, and I wanted the wording to really pop out. So how I did that was create an offset of 0.035, and then I selected that offset and created an offset of it of 0.35 as well. I then created a square shape and then put it the same or similar color as what my tumbler is. I sent that to the back so that I can see what colors I want my vinyl to be. This gives me an idea of how the vinyl is going to look on the tumbler. Of course, sometimes it looks nothing like it does here because this is on the computer. It doesn't have the pattern on here, but it at least can give me an idea, and I can play around with the colors to see what I feel looks best before I cut them. I finally settled on that bottom layer being a textured gold. We're going with a shimmer white for the middle, and then for the top, of course, shimmer black. I went ahead and attached both my gold layer and my gold stars so they would all cut as one, and it would be a lot easier for me to line my vinyl up. And after that, I just highlighted them all, made them the same color so that they would all cut on the same mat. The three vinyls that I used was the shimmer white, the shimmer black, and textured metallic gold, all from TeckWrapcraft. Now I did go back and cut some more of those stars so we can place them randomly on the back of the tumbler. I just don't have them here. This shimmer vinyl is a little bit thicker, so I did cut it on the light cardstock setting. That way it would cut all the way through and be easy to weed, just as all of the other TeckWrap vinyl that I have used. I've showed you this trick before, but I haven't talked about it in a while. To easily remove any vinyl from the backing, just place your transfer tape on top, flip your vinyl over, and then use a squeegee tool to press down on the back as you are lifting that backing off, and it will come off perfectly and leave your vinyl behind. I'm going to place my decal on the opposite side of my seam. So I just lined that up and stood it straight up on my table so I can make sure that I get the decal nice and straight. Once I placed that, I just rubbed it down really well and removed my transfer tape. After I got this on, my only plan was to put this decal on here. But after I got this on, I was obsessed with the way that this vinyl looked and how the gold stars looked. So I did go back and cut those extra stars and place them randomly around the tumbler. Just look at how beautiful that shimmer vinyl looks up against this Waterslide. I loved it. Okay, so in our final layer, I wanted to add even more shimmer because what is a cup without lots of glitter? So I added in some diamond dust from PDB Creative Studio in my first of final 2 layers of epoxy, and this was complete. I love how this turned out. It is so simple, yet just so elegant and beautiful. All of the extra fine glitter that was added into the epoxy just gives this a really beautiful shimmer. And Susan at Slide Hustle is such a talented designer. I absolutely love all of her designs that she creates. She takes my ideas that I send over for these packs and it just creates something incredible. You can get this pack from their Etsy shop October 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The bundle is at a discounted price. However, if you are unable to get your hands on a bundle, they will be released at full price later on individually. All of the materials that I have used will be listed in the description down below, as well as some coupon codes for you. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.